Today I have this, and I have this, and I have this for you. And I'm gonna give you something that's gonna help you break the limits within your business with alignment, with good energy, whether it was making 10K per month, 20K per month, 30K per month, whatever you wanna take it. I'm gonna show you how to take it with actual alignment, with actual energy, and with actual ease. So let's get on with it. And by the end, actually, what I'm gonna give you is 4 exercises that you can do, or 4 tests that you can immediately do right now in order to understand what's been holding you back and break through pretty quickly. Now, welcome to the 20K Mindset series. The 20K Mindset series is a series that we started in order to show you how to break the limits of your mind. Because if you don't know how to break the limits of your mind, you're not gonna know how to break the limits within your business. Because the majority of us know that most problems in business come from the mind, our inability to focus, our beliefs, our own ways of seeing the world. And if we don't change those, nothing in reality and the physical reality will change. So I'm gonna break your mental limits in order to break your physical reality. Cool? So let's get on with it. I have a couple of notes and we're gonna talk a little bit together as usual. Nothing too fancy, nothing too over-edit. And then at the end, I'm gonna give you the exercises that you can do, or the tests actually that you can do, and you can get on with it. So when I started within my journey and when I started to get some traction, okay, so in the first section and the first episode, I showed you how to burn the old, because you cannot move forward in life if you always have this baggage that you're moving with and going with. So I showed you how to burn the old. And I did that. Good. But as I was progressing a little bit, I came across a guy named Sam Ovens. Maybe you know him, maybe you don't know him. If you know him, well, you know him. If you don't know him, Sam Ovens is kind of the godfather of the consulting space. So he has consulted the biggest names in the industry, multiple different, like Dan Bolton, William Brown, Charlie Morgan, even Alex Hormozy to a certain extent, Ravi Abuvala. He has consulted big names in the industry. And the guy talks about something called the identity sheet. He became very well known about the identity sheet. Now, if you know it, again, good. If you don't know what the identity sheet is, I'm gonna give it to you, don't worry. The identity sheet is basically an exercise where you write down on a sheet or a piece of paper or a PDF who you want to be in the future, how this person looks like, how this person acts. You put a lot of images, you put a lot of achievements, you visualize it, you see it with the affirmations. And my identity sheet is, I think, like 8 pages. His identity sheet, I think, was 12 pages. So it goes along, like it's this thick if you want to print it out, pretty much. And I did it. Cool. So I did it. Because why? If I can see the future, if I can feel the future, if I can see my goals, if I'm clear on what I want to do, I will get there, right? That's the reasoning. That's the logical reasoning that we go with as human beings fundamentally. And this is why we do goals. This is why we do affirmation. This is why we do manifestation. Because, well, if we see it, if we feel it, if we can get it in our energetic circle, we can bring it to life. And here's what happened. When I did it, I started reading it every day, but something felt off. Every day when I read it, something felt off. And I dropped it after a bit of time because actually something felt off. So what was it? I studied psychology to really understand those principles. I dove very deep into psychology, into behavior, into how the mind works and how the mind operates. In the mind, we have a very simple BS filter. We have a very simple BS filter. If you say to yourself, I am X, I am a multi-billionaire, but you are not a multi-billionaire, the mind isn't stupid. The mind will be like, no, you're not. If you say to us, I am happy and grateful, but you are actually not happy and grateful, the mind will be like, no, you're not happy and grateful. So there's this internal resistance, I would call it, or this internal, it is an internal resistance, basically. It's a disconnect between what you're saying and what is happening. This is why, for example, liars usually really deal with imposter syndrome and really deal with personal problems, because there's a disconnect between what they're saying and the reality of the situation, pretty much. So you read this sheet, you lie to yourself, you're like, it's gonna happen, but it doesn't. It doesn't, because you have this internal resistance, this internal friction, this internal disconnect between your reality and what's gonna happen in reality. And as I consulted a couple of people over the years, this showed up again and again, and I'm gonna give you the answer of how to solve it. It's very easy, don't worry. So one time the client came to me, pretty successful, doing like 5-6K per month in his business as a side business. So we're not talking about like focused consistency. Focused consistency, he could take it to 7 figures. So he was making 5, 6, 7K per month side business. He came to me, he started working with me, he started paying for my private mentorship. And as he started paying for my private mentorship, the first thing we did is we did a launch for him. And in this launch, he made $11,000, approximately. 11 point something, 11.2, 11.3 thousand dollars. And he disappeared. Let me get a sip of coffee. He disappeared for a week. And then he messages me back. Hi Arnold, Wickman. Sorry for disappearing, but honestly, I don't want to do that anymore. I don't feel aligned with it. I don't feel aligned with the business that I'm building. That's the first situation. The second situation, I got a client who came to me after 3 years of trying to build up his business to the level where he wanted it to be. And he has built up a couple of good businesses. And the first session we had together, he told me, Arnold, I cannot stay consistent with anything that other people are teaching me. That was his problem. And I realized that there's a commonality between those people. There's a commonality between the people who really just cannot stay consistent, cannot show up, cannot do the thing. And it's basically that you're doing something that doesn't align with you. You're being taught something that is not your own reality. So in the case of the second person, he was big. By the way, the second person invested in some of the biggest programs, the biggest names in the industry. If I want a name drop, you would be amazed if I want a name drop, but I'm not that person. But the problem is that he was being fit in a box. People were trying to take him, put him into their strategies and tell him like, this is what you need to be doing. And that's his biggest problem. He couldn't fit in this box because his personality didn't align with it. The same way that my personality didn't align with what I was reading, the goals sheet, the personality sheet, the identity statements, it wasn't aligning. That was not me. The strategies that he was doing, those were not him. The client who dipped on a 6-figure business, literally, in the first launch, $11,000. Imagine if we continued. He dipped on a 6-figure business. Why? Because it was not him. It was not him. And this is the reality with a lot of businesses. A couple of days ago, I was watching my mentor, and one of his clients made $250,000 in the business. And then he messaged him. He was like, look, man, I really don't want to be doing that anymore. It doesn't make sense to me. It doesn't fit who I want to be or what I want to do. And this is the big problem. This is the big problem that we need to understand in this coaching, in this consulting industry, is that you can get paid for whatever you want to do. But you are doing things like other people have told you. You are being shaped, you are being fit in a box, you are being shoved into a way of thinking and into a way of believing. So, what happens? And I'm gonna cut it short, don't worry. So what happens there? It's just like school. What happened in school? In school, you could be anything you want to be, but you have to take those materials and you have to thrive in those, and you have to get good grades in order to get to a next grade and a next grade and to upgrade in the system, pretty much. You have to become good at everything. Science, math, literature, you have to become good at everything because this is what a complete human being looks like. When in reality, this book, Robert Greene, Mastery, tells you the complete opposite. This guy has studied, well, if you see, I've marked most of the pages. This guy has studied the most successful masters in history. And he realized that the most successful masters in history are good at one or two things. That's it, pretty much. This book, he says pretty much, find what you're good at, stick to what you're good at. School tells you need to be good at everything. This is the problem. This is the problem. We think that to make money, we need to do this type of offer or this type of strategy. So we do it, and then we fall out of alignment. Like my client who has been trying to build his business for 3 years and it didn't make sense. By the way, he just signed the client for $3,000 per month by doing something that aligns with him, not some fancy BS strategies. Anyway, I digress. So we were taught and we were shaped to think that we should be something different, that we should do something different, when in reality this is the complete opposite. Where in reality what you actually need to be doing is to understand yourself, know thyself. Secret societies, esoteric societies, religions, even literal societies around us have been saying that. Philosophy has been saying that for years. Psychology has been saying that for years. Know thyself. Knowing thyself is the key to your freedom. It's the key to your freedom. And this is the key. If you want to break free within your business and make more money than you've ever imagined, the first thing that you need to do is know thyself. Know your strength. Know your strength. Focus on your strength. Know what you're good at, focus on what you're good at. Society rewards masters, it does not reward mediocre performers. And for you to become a master at what you do, you need to have the energy, the fulfillment, the excitement to show up every day and grab it by the balls and do it. And how can you have this excitement if you're always trying to fit into someone else's framework, into someone else's strategy, into someone else's worldview? You can't. How can you do that if you feel that you're lying to yourself every time you're doing the goal sheet, every time you're doing the affirmations, every time you're doing the meditations? You can't. You can't. And here's what happened for me. I paid someone, and I spent a lot to learn this, and I'm going to give it away for free to you. I'm not going to mention his name because most probably every single person watching this video knows this guy. One of the best behind the scenes people that you can ever meet. And he told me, Arnold, actually what you need to be doing, go do personality assessments. At the time, when I got his advice, I was at a low point in my life. Not in my business, in my life. In my business, I was making money. I was good. I was cashing money in. And he said, Arnold, go do a couple of personality assessments. And I'm going to give you the personality assessments and how to use them. Okay? And I did that. And here are the results. Yes. I think 10 pages of personality assessments. Okay? And when I did the personality assessments, I figured out exactly why I felt out of alignment, why I felt at a low, why every day I felt like I was choked up and doing nothing, why every day I felt like I was beating the same wheel again and again, trying to get somewhere in life, and I wasn't fulfilled, and I wasn't getting where I want to get. See, when I did the test, one of the things that is my strength is high-level and business and marketing strategist. This is one of my biggest strengths, high-level business and marketing strategist. What was happening is that I had people coming to me to do the low-level work. So they used to pay me a lot of money, but they used to pay me to do the low-level work, to give the strategy to them, to give them the answers, when in reality, my strength is at the high level. I can guarantee something. If you hire me and I sit down with you and I listen to your problems and I give you a high-level advice and you go implement it, you are going to make money without any question. You are going to break through without any question. I can fix your offer in a second. I can fix your messaging in a second. I can fix your positioning in a second at the high level. Because that's my strength. I can see things that other people can't see at the very high level picture. So that's one of my strengths. But what I was doing is I was doing the weakness, which is going into the deep work. And actually, let me go to the avoid. What to avoid? What I have to actually avoid is over-involvement in execution. My strength is high-level work, but people used to pay me for daily execution. So what happened is that I was doing the daily execution, I was being paid well, but I felt like I felt miserable. The same thing happened with my client. Every client that made a lot of money and that came to me and was like, I don't feel aligned, this is the exact same thing that happened. And right now I do this exercise with every single one of my clients in the beginning, so we don't deal with that problem later on. He was like, Arnold, I'm doing all of this, but I'm not getting the results. Where in reality, he was doing everything that fit outside of his personality. He was a very high-level operator. He should never be touching the daily numbers, the daily stats, the daily inputting, the daily messaging. He should never be touching that. He was a high-level operator. So as a high-level operator, what he needs to be doing is what? Operate stuff, not execute on stuff. When he fixed that, he took his business to the next level. So anyway, now you understand this. Know thyself. Work to know thyself. This is the most meaningful, most impactful, most powerful work that you can ever do as a business owner, as an entrepreneur, as a coach, as a consultant, or even as a husband. Because once you know thyself, you can show up to your relationship fully. You know what you like, what you don't like. You know your boundaries. You know what makes sense. You know what doesn't make sense. So this takes us to the final point, which is what to do. So now we made a very strong argument around this, and we realized that, okay, we need to fix that. So what to do? What to physically do? You have 4 tests. Wealth dynamics. Go online, search for wealth dynamics, you're gonna find it. Second test, genius you. Third test, 16 personalities. I have them written down here. 16 personalities. And fourth test, I think right now it's called the 5 personalities by Jordan Peterson, something like that. It's a personality test by Jordan Peterson. So Wealth Dynamics and Jordan Peterson's are paid, Genius U and 16 personalities are free. Do every single one of those tests and get the answers. Cool? This is step 1. Step 2, plug the answers into ChatGPT. Plug them as PDFs and tell ChatGPT, give me a comprehensive summary of my personality assessments, my strengths, my weaknesses, what I should be focusing on, what I should avoid, and then let it run. Let it give you. It's gonna give you something that looks like this. Let's say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. It's a 9-page comprehensive summary of your personality, your strength, your weaknesses, what to focus on, what to not focus on, what brings you energy, what doesn't bring you energy, and what to do. From now on, my friend, just focus on your core strength. Society rewards masters. You cannot become a master by focusing on your weaknesses. Focus on your strength, develop your strength, and you'll make it. So now, in the first episode, we've burned the old. In the second episode, which is right now, we're understanding ourselves. We're knowing how to think, how to operate, how to deal with things. In the next episode, I'm going to give you 1 book and 1 exercise and 1 mental shift that has made multi-millionaires. Okay? It's going to be released in the next week. So subscribe and watch.